ladies and gentlemen, I have to present to you a very important piece of historic information, a piece of media that needs to live for all time inside of the statuary hall of presidential lies. I didn't have sex with that woman, said Bill Clinton. Well, there's a big lie. I am not a crook, says Richard Nixon. We'll see. We'll see. The verdict's out on Richard Nixon. I don't know. I don't know. Very interesting the more I read about Watergate. But nonetheless, presidential lies. And then Barack Obama. If you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. But what about this one, where Joe Biden shoves his finger in the face of Peter Doocy and said, "Hey, never did a penny with a penny with a penny in the bun." Hey, go.
Mr. Vice President, how many times have you ever spoken to your son about his overseas business dealings?
I've never spoken to my son about his overseas business dealings.
And so how do you know?
Here's what I know. I know Trump deserves to be investigated. He is violating every basic norm of a president. You should be asking him the question, why is he on the phone with a foreign leader, trying to intimidate a foreign leader, if that's what happened? That appears what happened. You should be looking at Trump. Trump's doing this because he knows I'll beat him like a drum. And he's using the abuse of power and every element of the presidency to try to do something to smear me. Everybody looked at this, and everybody's looked at it and said there's nothing there. Ask the right question.
Joe Biden looking down the barrel of the cameras and saying, "I've never spoken to my son about his business dealings, ever." Curious that, because when you crack open Hunter Biden's laptop, you open it right up, and you have a little looky-poo at the messages that Hunter Biden was receiving during one of his crack benders in the year 2018, well, you'll come up with a message like this. And I have this piece of information to bring to you this very morning. Exclusive. You need a safe harbor. I can work with your father alone, says Jim Biden, sent to Hunter to suggest that Joe was on their payroll, that Joe was leading the crime family. What? I can work with your father alone. What does that mean? Let's unpack this baby, because this is an important one. This is the big one. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Jonathan Turley, one of our favorite legal analysts, writing for the New York Post. In 2018, Hunter Biden's world was collapsing. The New York Times had run a big story on one of his shady deals, a Chinese energy deal, the China oil conglomerate that was going to pay Hunter Biden a lot of money to make sure that they got American oil pumped directly into their communist system. It appears that Hunter was in free fall, and that Jim Biden reached out to the newly discovered messages to offer him a safe harbor. Safe harbor. The exchange is insightful into the train wreck of a life that the scion of one of the most powerful families in the country once led. However, it is also an insight into the world of influence peddling, where millions of dollars simply evaporated into the coffers of the Biden family. On its face, the messages seem to contradict public statements from President Biden over the foreign influence peddling scam that Hunter ran with his drug-infused destructive lifestyle. The New York Times story, caused panic in the Biden family. Despite large supportive media, the Bidens had long been known for influence peddling. Jim Biden, repeatedly criticized for marketing his access to his brother across the world to some of the worst regimes on earth, Hunter knew that the New York Times story was just the tip of the iceberg. There were deals all over with foreign figures worth millions, and these figures with close ties to foreign intelligence or bad regimes. As revealed recently by the House Oversight Committee, the Bidens constructed a labyrinth of corporations and accounts to transfer millions of these deals into various Biden family member coffers, including their grandkids. Nevertheless, Joe Biden repeatedly claims that he had no knowledge of his foreign business dealings. Those denials are patently false, writes the New York Post. Hunter's Biden laptop includes pictures of appointments for Hunter's foreign business dealings and associates with Joe Biden. Ladies and gentlemen, those meetings include arrested figures inside of the Communist Chinese Party. In a message from his father, Joe Biden says, "I think you're in the clear," to Hunter Biden. Jim Biden, that's Joe's brother, appears to rush to try and fix the issue with Hunter Biden spiraling into a cocaine and crack-fueled bender. He assures him in a text message, I can be a safe harbor. I can work with your father alone. You have the smoking gun. Here it is. Where the hell is the special counsel? You finally have the smoking gun. Now, you've all seen it from a mile away. You've heard it through whistleblower after whistleblower. Joe Biden was in charge of this sloppy, dime store, influence peddling family that took money from these corrupt individuals all around the world in order for favors from the American government. They saw the Clintons do it, and they said, why can't we have a piece? And now we have, finally, the message for you to see and for all the world to see. Directly from the Biden family, yeah, Joe's in charge. I can work with your dad alone on these corrupt scam deals. Go.
All right, as the investigation into Hunter continues, we are still learning more from his laptop. Take a look at one text recovered by the Daily Mail. This is from Jim Biden, Joe's brother, to Hunter. He writes, quote, I can work with your father alone. We, as usual, just need several months of his help for this to work. Let's talk about it. So maybe Joe did know a thing or two about the family business after all?
And I'm going to have to start banning Fox clips. Like, what is going on at that network? Like, where's Jason Chaffetz recording that? Like inside of a water closet in a Wendy's? What's going on? It's like so embarrassing. Nonetheless, that's the text message. The Daily Mail article, you can actually see the text message for yourself. It's important to actually show you the evidence. We will actually deliver to you the actual evidence. We'll put it on screen for you. There it is. Direct from Hunter Biden's laptop. Yes, we can work with Joe on all these deals. We just need a little more time. We just need you to come back home, Hunter. Hunter, of course, was in the midst of a spiraling bender at this time. He was spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on sex workers, on sex trafficked workers. He was spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on crack cocaine, smoking carpet parmesan. And more importantly, he was ranting like a lunatic on his voicemails back and forth with his father, which we now have because of the laptop that he dropped off inside of a cocaine-fueled bender, and we've actually spoken with that laptop repair shop owner. But nonetheless, it's important to actually look at the mental state of Hunter Biden in this moment. Luckily, we can hear the mental state of Hunter Biden in this moment. This New York Times article dropping the information about the corrupt Chinese business relationship was a doozy. It led to a rant like this where Hunter Biden straight up names his father as one of his co-conspirators here. Where the hell is the special counsel? Listen.
I get calls from my father to tell me that the New York Times is calling, but my old partner, Eric, who literally has done me harm for I don't know how long, is the one taking the calls because my father will not stop sending the calls to Eric. I have another New York Times reporter calling about my representation of literally, Dr. Patrick Koh, the spy chief of China, who started the company that my partner, who was worth $323 billion, founded, and is now missing. The richest man in the world is missing, who was my partner. He was missing since I last saw him in his $58 million apartment and signed a $4 billion deal to build the largest LNG port in the world. And I am receiving calls from the Southern District of New York, from the U.S. Attorney himself. My best friend in business, Devin, has named me as a witness without telling me in a criminal case, and my father without telling me.
My father, dun dun dun, all the dramatic, all the drama there, ladies and gentlemen. It's pretty clear what's happening right now, what's happening is the greatest mop-up job ever in American political history. The evidence against the Bidens is demonstrable. It's insurmountable. There's no getting out of this. The Bidens are controlled opposition for the deep state. The Bidens are controlled emissaries, not opposition. They can be done away with at the flick of a pen. It's good to have leverage over people. And to have leverage over people, you can completely control them. And this is great to be able to control a president of the United States. How long have the presidents of the United States been completely and totally subservient to our deep state? Can you even become a president of the United States without being totally subservient to our deep state? These people know that with the flick of a wrist, they could put the Bidens, all of them, in prison. And there's the power. There's the leverage. There's the crime family. The Bidens are sloppy. They're dirty. They're stupid. The evidence is unbelievable against them. And we're going to get into the contempt charges because even Kevin McCarthy, moments ago, is out saying, yo, I'm going to bring contempt charges against the FBI director. That will be submitted to the Department of Justice because they are hiding the evidence of this. The Bidens were sloppy. The Bidens were greedy. The Bidens were pigs in slop.